My sisters and brothers, I greet you all with the love and peace of the Lord. I invite you to meditate together with me a little while on the holy priesthood as we celebrate the great memory of Saint John Mary Vianney, the patron saint of all the priests. And especially in our times where priesthood seems to be losing its charm and value, where priesthood seems to be under a bit of heavy criticism, it is worthwhile that once again we recapture the beauty, the immense worth of this great state of life, great grace of God, the priesthood. What makes priesthood beautiful and precious is its incarnational dimension. What does it imply? Priesthood incarnates divinity. Just as Jesus, the Son of God, became human, that is, incarnates the divine, so also a priest who is anointed by the Spirit incarnates the divine in and through him. While the divinity that Jesus incarnates, that is, makes concrete and tangible, is inherent to him, the divinity that a priest incarnates is not inherent but is bestowed on him. A priest is one who blends together these two essential dimensions of the divine and the human. Priest, as a blend of the divine and human, has it that the divine ennobles the human and the human enables the divine to become concrete and real. In a priest, the divine sublimates the human and the human substantiates the divine, giving it flesh and blood. A priest who does not make a difference from others by the quality of his person and life is lacking in his very consecration. A priest is consecrated to the extent he is totally possessed by God. He becomes God's own. He becomes the propriety and the possession of God. It is God who directs a priest's life, and he is not under the undue influence or conditioning of anything else, neither the world, nor the flesh, nor the devil. A consecrated priest is always loyal to God and his affairs. He never wavers in his faithfulness, come what may. No defection, no switching over the loyalties, whatever be the allurements that entice him. A priest is consecrated in so far as he constantly strives to live a life that bears testimony to the love and the power of God. He becomes a sign and proof to the world of God's powerful love and loving power. A priest who does not manifest this love and power of God, however imperfect it be, is falling deficient. A priest sits at the table of his master, constantly listening to him learning from him and imbibing his spirit. A priest, being a zealous apostle, knows what is the will and the way of his master, and he constantly follows the footsteps of the master. A worthy apostle is always conscious of his mission entrusted by the master, convinced of it and committed to it selflessly and generously. A good priest has no interest of his own except the glory of his Lord. One who cannot sit cannot walk. One who does not sit at the feet of the Lord as a disciple cannot walk as an apostle. A priest is a mystic in the sense he always reflects and embodies the depth of God's experience. A priest always strives to remain connected with the source. A priest is not easily carried away by the hustle and the bustle of the world. He is not unduly suffocated by the crowds of preoccupations. A priest of God is in touch with the inner world. He tries to experience and nurture a different realm. However active and busy a priest is with multiple activities, this contemplative dimension must never be ignored or neglected. A priest, by his very vocation, is called to be a prophet, one who communicates to the people the message of God and channels God's healing, comforting, confronting, and renewing grace. A priest must be a passionate lover of God. A priest is always focused on doing God's will and God's will alone. He makes himself a ceaseless and relentless performer for God. And every priest is a missionary in the sense he is on the eternal, integral mission of passion for God, communion with fellow priests, and compassion towards the people entrusted to his care. A true priest is featured by his fidelity to the Lord, fraternity to his companions, and charity to the people. A priest shows God to the people like a navigator. He leads them, animating them in the path of the Lord, and coordinates all the good efforts towards the common goal of spreading God's reign. Let us then pray for such a holy priesthood. Let us pray for such holy, committed, and affable priests. May God always bless and reward all the good priests.